Truelove Quilts for You. I am back and raring to go. I had a nap. The last video I put up, Maxwell and I were done. We were done. We were so fed up. We were so tired. I don't know why we're tired. I think it's a lot of tired, nervous energy from being on this lockdown. And maybe I shouldn't have even put that video up. We were being so silly. And as somebody said, punchy. Absolutely. Stressed out. But we've regrouped. And here I am. Maxwell's trying to work on getting his computer bits and up and running, which is very important to him. So thank you for bearing with us, my last video. This little video is not quite a tutorial. I have several projects that I've made, small little projects that I'm going to be doing tutorials on. Not short tutorials, as you know, I go in depth. But I'm very comforted by the fact that quite a few people have said repeatedly that they're a beginner and they've learned how to do something from start to finish because of my way I teach. As you know, I didn't like school. I failed. I flunked out of school. I'm a bit of ADD. I fell in between the cracks in school. But here I am teaching. I think that's amazing, just the way I do it. And I thank you who support me and my way of doing things and my talking and everything. So the few little tutorials to come after what I have to say about something is this little thing. This is a little project I made. I don't know how many percentage of you will be able to would want to make this. This is a clothespin holder, okay? I had no pattern for this. Long story, even longer. I guess it was when I was growing up that my mother had, we lived out in the woods, out in the country, had clotheslines strung from black walnut tree to black walnut tree. Even, and actually, it's funny, I was thinking about that when the black walnuts, it's a dirty tree, they'd get her lovely sheets all dirty sometimes. But I remember, as you do fondly, childhood memories of blowing, the sheets blowing and playing in them. And it was my job to get the big wooden stick that would shore up the line that was sagging. And so I had moved to England 40 years ago, and my mother-in-law used to hang out her clothes with clothes pegs. This is a clothes peg bag for you Europeans. Clothes pins, we call them in this country. But my husband and I very quickly had, in England, when we lived there, 6 children. And then when we moved back to this country, we had 4 more children. We have 10 children. And it was pretty much impossible for me to contemplate hanging out laundry for so many people. And so my point is, I did not have a washing line pretty much my whole entire adult life. I remembered as a child. I always wanted one though, because of those memories and because of saving on electricity. When in our last house, the house we were selling, I had basically a laundromat because there was 12 of us. I had two washing machines and 3 dryers, and at any one given time, I was doing 10 loads of laundry a day. It was I did laundry. I cooked and did laundry my entire adult life. It's funny now because it's just 3 of us. We've moved to this phase of our life and it's just Maxwell, my husband, and I in this lovely home. And I have it's so funny, I have a stackable washer and dryer in the closet. And when I moved here, I was still on, it's a fabulous washer and dryer, but I was still on like, oh, I miss my laundry room with my 2 washers and 3 dryers. I don't need them. And we've lived here now for 6 months, and the weather is so beautiful, and we have a beautiful garden, beautiful acreage here. And I was saying about a month ago, I would really like to get a washing line. So I think they're sold out. If any of you are interested, Lehmans, LEHMANS.com. Is it like an Amish country store? I'm not quite sure about that. In Ohio, again, I'll put up a link. I got my telescoping, like umbrella type of line because we don't have trees big enough, wide enough for a washing line. So I just got this sort of a very well-made, metal, and then the clotheslines around it. Holds a lot of laundry. So I just got that about a month ago. Maxwell sort of planted it for me. He dug the hole. He put the drainage in it. It was so good. I have some pictures of it. So I'll take a picture of that. Somebody asked me and I went online and they're sold out. But I think they'll probably be getting more if you're interested. And this is what this is all about. Sort of. I'm going to be doing a tutorial. I had no pattern, so this is really ghetto and really like redneck. But I put together some semblance. It was too big, so I had to make a pleat. But this is sort of a tutorial. I'm going to try to perfect it. This tutorial here of a little clothespin holder bag. And I use vintage looking fabrics. They are not vintage fabrics. In fact, I was looking in my stash, I'm thinking, where did I get this fabric? I have a lot of fabric. And it was from my, if you refer back, I don't know right off the top of my head. It was from my 2018 block party fat quarter bundle I got. Now, who is that from? What is that maker of these fabrics? I did not use these it's just two fat quarters. I didn't use them in my block party because, as you can see, it had a beautiful pattern, and I was making cut up blocks. So I saved those two pieces of fabric. Now so I'm going to be doing a tutorial on that one, and also I had gotten from Martelli, and I will go into depth. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on these hexagon quilt as you go little projects. And there's a smaller one, and here's a larger one that I have done. You need a template for this, and I'll let you know about this. Again, these sort of cutesy colors, a little table runner. We can make a whole quilt out of them. That is to come. But what I wanted to concentrate just the next few minutes on is lots of people are saying, oh, you really do know how to put fabric colors and fabrics together. And could you show us that, a tutorial? And I'm thinking, I don't know how to teach that. I have obviously my fabrics here, and I'll see, I like a fabric and I start pulling other fabrics from it. I have a video previously to this, maybe a couple years ago, on using the color wheel, how to use, putting colors together. Of course, your green and red's opposite on the color wheel, or complementary color wheel. I always say get a color wheel. And if and when you can get to a fabric store, take your color wheel with you. But I also like the fact that you look outside the box. I'm always looking outside the box. And although they've become more expensive, I think if you have an auntie, or you go to an estate sale, or a yard sale, or even online, which are a bit more expensive, vintage linens. Now, again, you have to think outside the box. Vintage linens. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about handkerchiefs. I'm talking about tablecloths, napkins. I have been collecting for years some vintage linens. Now, again, at certain quilt shows that we've gone to, this is a hot commodity, and they're expensive. They are expensive. You can pay $40, $50, $60, $70 for a vintage tablecloth. These were my mother's. And I had found these in an old, like a dough box that she had in her home that I inherited, along with some other yellow linen. And this is a tablecloth. Now, this is a beautiful tablecloth. I have made quilts. This to me is a quilt top, right there. It's a beautiful work of art, already done. It's already done. It's a nice size. Look at that, nice size quilt. Cuddle up with, put batting and back it with a beautiful fabric, and free motion quilt, or else do a grid, and you have an instant quilt. You have an instant quilt. So if you can find one of these tucked in a box at a yard sale or jumble sale or car boot sale in England, then by all means, there is a beautiful quilt top. And it's a gorgeous piece of textile, lovely bit of fabric. They're usually 100% cotton. Awesome, that's awesome. Now, I have actually made and sold in my Etsy shop about four vintage tablecloth quilts. Here's something. I have about four of the, or I think I only have three little napkins. This is from like the 30s, 40s, and 50s. I don't know. This is like it's printed fabric. The little roses on these handkerchiefs. But if you look at that, like that type of thing right there, on the top of my clothespin bag, right there is a beautiful piece of fabric. It's a napkin. Now, if you can get it for 50 cents, you can get it for 50 cents, right? And that's so pretty. So what I'm saying is, when you're making something, perhaps a tote bag or something, again, look outside the box. Now, this I have cut up tablecloths. I have cut up napkins. This one here, I will not cut up. I will not cut this up, because I was just looking at this as I was thinking about this little, whatever this is, not tutorial, but this little video of using vintage linens. Now that right there is just, look at that work of art. Now that's probably from the 30s or the 40s, and it's sort of a southwestern man there with a sombrero, the cactus, the beautiful pottery here. How beautiful is that piece of fabric? Absolutely gorgeous. Again, you could use this if you were brave. You could cut it and use it as a border on a quilt, or you know, use it as a beautiful pillow on a bed. You could take this middle bit and do a beautiful bit of free motion quilting in there, a gorgeous flower. You could do quite a lot of projects if you chose, say, to cut this piece of fabric up. A lot of the tablecloths I found are square, and they're not like huge. What do we get in this country? 60-inch by 120-inch, these banquet size things. A lot of them are square, smaller for like back in the 50s. However, I had found this at a yard sale. I think it was $2. It's never been used. It's never been used. It's in pristine condition. I'm not a blue and white person, but anyone with a blue and white Delft kitchen or tiles, look at this tablecloth. Look at that. Look at that beautiful, beautiful work of art. It's like perfect. I do believe somebody's great auntie had died or something like that. And there was a box of linens that people don't realize they're sitting on gold. So have a snoop around. Ask if you go to a jumble sale or a car boot sale or a thrift store. Ask. Now, I wouldn't, there's a beautiful, beautiful teal color. Now, I'm going to get to that. But here's another one that I have that has a gorgeous edging on the end, like a crocheted edging. That's most probably done by hand. Somebody stitched that on by hand. And these are so sweet. They're all sort of kitschy. I think that's the expression. That they're like, this one's like a colonial. Like, look at that. Like George Washington and Martha Washington. So funny. So funny. Maybe 1940s, 1950s. But what I'm saying is they're happy and they're bright, if you like that type of thing. So when I go to do my clothespin holder, by all means you could use any fabric. But I think a vintage looking fabric, because we're hearkening back to your grandmother hanging out their washing, right? And you can get, I'm thinking, why am I doing this? Because you can go to Walmart and get a bag for like $5, you know. But like, I just think that's so pretty. Now, is it washable? Not really, because I sort of sewed that. I sewed the clothes hanger in, and so I'm bringing it in. But obviously, I'm going to try to make it washable, whatever. But this is the clothes hanger that I used. Now, again, my tutorial will just be a guide, because your clothes hanger probably won't have this one. Could you do it with like a wire hanger, cheap from the dry cleaners? Probably, but it might sag. You could use a heavy-duty wooden hanger, but I would recommend a nice, that's the other degree, like it's really sturdy. But whatever your profile is, I quite liked using this hanger because it gave this real sweet profile. So that's the hanger. I think you can get a pack of them in this country for just a few dollars. Now again, using different vintage linens. I just wanted to explain, I just wanted to show you, I have made handkerchief quilts. And a lot of people are like, oh, I have a bunch of my grandmother's handkerchiefs. Well, again, isn't it funny? I'm not a blue person. I have all these, actually, I'm not a blue person, so I didn't use them. But I have all these blue handkerchiefs right here. And they're just, to me, they're works of art. They're works of art in their own right. So what I would do, and I think this is why I have them, is I will back these. You absolutely have to use a stabilizer on the back, and then because they're very fragile. Look, you can see right through it. They're very fragile pieces of fabric, and then make a quilt or something that you're not going to be washing every 2 seconds because they will disintegrate. They're not meant for that. You have to stabilize them, and then you could mount them on different. You could mount them on white, but right there is a quilt block. Right there is a quilt block. So you have 6 or 7 of them. You have a sweet little quilt. Mounted on either, you could mount them like this one. You could mount it on a beautiful, say whatever, like maybe you could put it on a beautiful red, and have something real bold, and have this just or a beautiful pillow, and you could embellish it with little, perhaps little roses that you get from the craft store, make it a little bit more dimensional with a little bit of quilting in the middle. I mean, these are beautiful works of art, as I say, in themselves. Here I have here's a beautiful, beautiful green handkerchief. Again, I've been collecting these over the years, again, from yard sales. That is gorgeous. I think I paid about $2 for these, but I know that online now, these are like between $5 and $8. People who know what they are, they're like gold. But if you want something special, right there, I could make it just a gorgeous pillow. And I've just pulled that from my stash, and that's sort of like a holiday looking, the holiday looking colorways. And these also, I've just pulled these. This is a beautiful. Now this has a lot of stains on it, but that doesn't bother me. They're clean. That's a beautiful lavender. And again, if you mounted that on the lavender fabric there, or a pillow, or if you're on the lookout, you can be on the lookout for just lavender hankies. Make it a mission. Here's a gorgeous one. This is a gorgeous one. This was my mother's, and she used this a lot. Obviously, it's washed. But that beautiful tealy blue, now that's just a solid, but look how beautiful. I don't know what I would do with that right now, but look how beautiful that fabric is. I just pulled things to complement. Now this one, again, this was my mom's. This is a sweet with a black. It has a black print with little pink flowers, and yet I saw that fabric here that I've used on other projects. I have a little bit, but something could be done like to complement that hanky with that fabric there. So this is modern fabric with a handkerchief that maybe is 60 or 70 years old. So again, you're not limited. Now I have this vintage tablecloth, and I've had it in mind. I'm going to cut this one up. It's really pretty, it's beautiful, but I was looking at this, and it's nice. It has it has some stains on the inside, and it just is beautiful for its border print. So this, if you see something like this, and a lot of the ones, these are less expensive if you start looking around. The ones with all the pattern motifs on it, like really from the 30s and the 40s, they get expensive. But something like this is a little bit less. But what I see is a beautiful border on a quilt. Or I could take this piece of fabric here. I could make 12 or 15 of this little hanger if I choose to make them and sell them. Because quite a lot of people, I put it on my Facebook page, are like, oh, are you going to sell them? And I'm like, I'm not selling that, because it's the prototype, which is not made well at all. I have to figure it out, because again, I don't have a pattern, and it's contingent on my coat hanger. But like something like that, I wouldn't mind. It wouldn't bother me to cut that up. It may bother somebody else, but it wouldn't bother me to isolate the fabric and to use a piece of beautiful rose fabric there. So anyway, and again, as far as choosing colors, for vintage fabrics, I did show you this tablecloth here. This tablecloth is from the 40s or the 50s, and it's this beautiful teal. Now, how modern is this, right? These colorways are so incredibly like popular. I have so much of this, like the turquoise and the red, and it's a sweet. It's sort of sickeningly sweetly grandmommy, looking fabrics. I have this one. It's not quite the same blue, but this one again. Cherries were the big motif back then, and this is a new fabric with a border print of cherries. So that like on something like that on the bottom of on my clothespin bag. So if you see a border print, you don't know what to do with it. Again, a pillow, you can cut mirror image and make a beautiful pillow. But this colorway, I think it's funny because I have quite a lot of fabrics in these colors. Isn't that funny? This is like a like a 30s reproduction print. And then I have this one, again, not quite the same blue, but I had this one, and again, it's new fabric, but it's a glorious, glorious take. Oh my word, look at that. On a vintage look. Like how pretty, how pretty, how pretty. And I'm not just saying for my clothespin holder, but also I think you, again, if you're in like a fabric store and you see if you're going to be making either a wall hanging that's not getting washed, or if you're not going to wash this, look outside the cotton fabrics. This is a cotton fabric, but it's a shirting, like a men's Hawaiian shirt fabric, which is away from the quilting cottons. That's 100%. I think it is 100% cotton, but it's like Hawaiian shirt looking. And again, these looks, this Hawaiian shirt looking fabric, which is more in the dressmaking aisle, they're almost vintage vintage looking in themselves. So if you wanted something bold now, like you could pair this black with like a hot pink and white polka dot, like that would really make it vintagey but retro-y cool, that look. So anyway, that's for what that's worth. Like I say, I can't teach people how to put their colors together. It's just what I like. I see something and I go off of that. Like I would absolutely keep this colorway. I would maybe do a pale green or a black and white check. It would all look different, or a hot pink, or a white and a white and green gingham. It would all be different looking. This one has this one here has the green. Obviously you see peach and green. So, but it also has like dark burgundies sort of in there, like a dark orange, and whites, and a little bit of brown and blue. So I might actually use this as my base and then choose colors to match that one. So anyway, that's that. I will be doing a little tutorial when I figure it out on this one. And again, my hexagons, I will tell you what you need to make the hexagon. This is a larger one, that's a smaller one, and I have even a little bit of a one in between. But you can make quilts out of these. These are quilt as you go. This is a quilt as you go. It's a dime a dozen again, online, on YouTube. There's a lot of videos, but I had never done one, and I was very, very pleased with the way it turned out. It's a quilt as you go. It has batting in it. It has batting in it. But again, that will be for a video to come. Like I said, I have regrouped. Maxwell and I are happy. The other day we weren't happy. We were miserable. But I'm home and the sun is shining, and we're safe and we're healthy. So I hope you enjoyed this little, step outside your box video. Look other than, go visit your grandmom. Go. If you can go to well, there's no yard sales in our area, but you know what I mean, when thrift stores come about. But yeah, so think outside the box. You might even have something hanging up, and fabric is so expensive now. That's what I say. I rarely go shopping anymore, but for people who have to spend $12, $13, $14, $15, $16 a yard for fabric, like it's nuts. So if you can get some fabric, even beautiful sheets or duvet covers, by all means, cut up old clothing, men's shirts, like a man's shirting fabric makes a fabulous looking quilt, like for like a Father's Day or something like that. Ties, I have a bunch of silk, not silk and polyester ties. I've never really worked with them. I have a whole bag full of them. And I want to make it, your obvious is like sort of a Dresden plate, with ties. But I'm gonna put my thinking cap on and try to come up. But that's fabric. It's fabric. It's not going to go to waste. Reduce, reuse, recycle. So a couple of tutorials to come. I hope you are all safe, and please keep healthy. And again, thank you so very much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. All right, see ya. Bye.